Hey everybody, and welcome to our Facebook Live today. And today we're really going to be talking about how to be in Hashimoto's health and back in 8 weeks. And as our guest today, we have Rita Bradley with us. And I'm Dr. Maggie Yu. I'm a integrative MD who had figured out I had the autoimmune disease and was able to turn that around for myself about 12 years ago. And we have an online program that's 8 weeks that helps people do this every single day to be able to transform their autoimmune disease. Our program is based on education. It's based on data, education, life coaching, and mindset work. And we do this all in an 8-week period. And today, what we're answering the question everybody wants to know is how how did Rita do this? And so I'm going to go ahead and have Rita introduce herself right now. Before we do that, though, can you go ahead and tell us where you're watching from? Just list below where you're watching from. That gives us the demographics. That'd be great. If you can go ahead and share this right now with anyone, just with one friend or somebody that you know that has Hashimoto's or autoimmune disease, go ahead and post their name in the comment section and share that right now. That'd be great. And then I'm going to go ahead and welcome Rita to our interview today. And I'm going to have you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, I'm Rita Bradley. I've had Hashimoto's for over 30 years. Struggled with a lot of GI issues over the last few years. Believe I was in an autoimmune attack, even though I didn't even know what that was, until I found Dr. Maggie and signed up for her program and feel like a new woman. So here I am.
Okay. So Rita, can you give people an idea, like, what was your life like before you joined this program? What was the last decade like? What was the result of having Hashimoto's health the last 10 plus years?
Not wanting to go anywhere, do anything, tired all the time, felt sick all the time, couldn't eat foods. Anything I ate was reactive to my stomach. I ended up having my gallbladder out in the last few years. I've had my appendix out. I had an internal abscess surgery that they had to basically take my intestines and clean them all out because I had so many problems going on and ulcers. I never really bounced back from any of that well. And so it really wasn't a life. It was going through the motions every day, doing what I had to do, but not really feeling like I was living.
So, I remember in the beginning you were on, at least just for your gut symptoms, you were on how many medications?
Four different medications.
Were they working?
They were masking symptoms. They were not fixing anything. They were just making it so that I could possibly tolerate some foods, but still wasn't able to eat things like a salad. If I ate a salad, I would be sick for days. Couldn't even eat, raw carrots, any raw vegetable. Like the foods that were healthy for you, I couldn't take. My gastro doctor basically at one point just said, well, you're just going to have to drink your protein for the rest of your life. I'm like, that's ridiculous. I can't live like that. And I don't want to take all these meds. They're going to do longer term damage to my system if I'm just having to be on these meds for the rest of my life. They're inhibiting my body's natural things that it's supposed to do. And that's not a way to live. You can't have that be the only solution. Is just, here, take these pills.
But here's the thing though, Rita, what you're pointing out is the reality is that conventional doctor, I was one of them for the first 10, 12 years of my career, is that we're really only trained on two tools, which is either a medication or a procedure or surgery, which If you actually think about your experience up to this point, well-meaning doctors, but you were just adding medications, surgical procedures more and more. Mm-hmm. And if that was helping fix the problem, the root cause of the problem, you were feeling great, you would have never needed to have a conversation with us to join our program or be 10 years down the road, be on those 4 meds and feeling crappy. But what you also said was that your diet was getting more and more limited. You're getting to the point where you had to just drink your protein?
She wanted me to drink my protein. So I was, drinking like chicken soup and having mashed potatoes. And that was about all I could stomach for a long time. And then I'd get a little bit better, be able to tolerate a little bit more, make the mistake of having, a tiny slice of a tomato in something. And I would be just right back for days with not being able to eat stuff.
Well, so here's the thing. When you actually do a lot of Google research, if you Google research, what is a good diet for autoimmune disease or what's a good diet for Hashimoto's, literally there's like 20,000 results.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's absurd, right? And how's anyone supposed to know and figure out what they're supposed to be eating with that kind of contradictory and that level of information out there?
Yeah,
So,
and it's overwhelming. It was completely overwhelming because I did all the Google searches. I mean, as a person who's not feeling good, I'm trying to find answers for myself. And it was not only overwhelming, it was one size fit all. And I knew that I was unique in that not only did I have Hashimoto's, but I had, a ton of gut issues. I'd had a ton of surgeries and pieces and parts cut out of me. And I knew that I was unique in that regard. And yet doctors didn't treat me unique. And everything I found on the internet was, and everything I saw on the internet was one size fits all. And I knew that wouldn't work for me.
well, okay. So fast forward. Right now, you went through our 8-week program. You graduated literally a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Okay. So people want to know, what are the outcomes that you've gotten? What are your outcomes that you've gotten since through this program?
Huge energy. I've got my life back. I feel like I can get up and go and do the things that I need to do for the day. I don't need a daily nap. I don't have daily headaches. I'm not getting shaky if I don't eat. I know how to take care of my diet and what I need to eat when. I have the supplements that I need to support me to get some of my nutrients back that were completely depleted that I had no idea. And I'm on the support that I need for hormones and am just trugging right along.
So what I'm hearing is like when you're saying like, because people want to know, like, I mean, these results, I mean, the list of your outcomes are no more brain fog.
No more brain fog.
Much better mindset. Off all your GI meds.
All of them. And that happened.
Were you off all these 4 medicines?
Probably the beginning of week 2.
By week 2, you were off 4 medicines.
2. As soon as I got off the gluten, and I had a suspicion that dairy was not good for me anyway, so I actually eliminated both at the same time. I got that confirmed when we did our testing, and also found out that I needed to stay away from almonds, which when I look back at what I was able to eat on mornings, I was eating gluten-based stuff with almond butter and yogurts. Like everything that's bad that I shouldn't be eating, I was eating every morning and wondering why I was so bad. So the
data was so important because you didn't have the right data. And then even then, it's like, even with the data, if you didn't have the education to understand what these patterns mean, right?
Yes.
And then the live coaching, where you were in a group session, like troubleshooting this live with our functional nutritionist to really truly understand what does this all mean.
Exactly. And it was funny. I remember being on one of the mindset calls and going, okay, but guys, I'm the one over here with the really super sensitive guts. And you go, trust it, Rita. You're good. Just trust it. It'll be fine. And sure enough, by about week 2, eliminating those things, I went, okay, I'm going to try and just not take this med today and see how I feel. And I did great. And by the end of that second week, I was like, I'm done with the meds. In fact, I had even forgotten about it because I hadn't taken them for so long, and I found them in my cupboard and went, oh my gosh, I was actually on 4 GI meds, gone in week 2, not even looking back, don't even remember that I was taking them, because I have not had this calm of an intestinal system and stomach since I can't even remember when.
Well, there's a lot of people watching right now, and I want you to comment in the comment section if what Rita's been through with the multiple surgical procedures and all the gut issues and being on 4 gut meds it sounds like you. Please go ahead and say me too, or just give us a little bit about you. This is a community of people that's going through autoimmune disease, and what Rita has experienced is very unusual. To be able to in 2 weeks be able to get off all 4 of her gut medications and feel better is key. This is the first 2 weeks. Now, what I want to ask is, once you got your food back results and you were actually, how restrictive was your diet coming into this program?
Oh, way restricted. Personally, on me, because I knew, okay, if I eat this, then it's going to make my stomach hurt. And I knew that there was certain things that I just had to absolutely stay away from. And so I had set my own restrictions on myself beyond the issues with the stuff the doctor was telling me over, drinking my protein. It was, I just I can't eat these things. And so coming into this, the first couple of weeks, I was, a little, I don't know. And then I started trusting it. And then it's like the world opens up. All of a sudden, I can eat all of these things and I can make these things and bake these things and cook meals for the family.
Wait, Rita, what you're saying is that instead people are like, oh my God, is Dr. Yu really just telling us to do another elimination diet? She's going to take away more crap from me. What has happened with your diet since you've been in this program?
I have been able to bring back everything that I ever eliminated. I've been able to, mind the, dairy and the almonds over to the side, which I'm perfectly fine with eliminating, given the fact that I can now have foods that I couldn't have before. So, like I said, I'm able to eat cabbage, cooked and raw. I can eat, salads again. I can enjoy, carrots and hummus. I mean, things that, a few weeks ago I wouldn't have touched at all or even tried to, because I know what it would do to me.
So by actually getting data, the education, life coaching, and mindset work, you've been able to actually reintroduce a lot more foods, get off all your medications, and feel better.
Absolutely.
In a long list of symptoms. Now, my next question is going to be, how has this affected your family? I want to know how this has affected your children and your family.
Okay, so I have two kids. My daughter is 15 and my son is 13. They both had symptoms as well. My daughter, I think interestingly enough, when we went gluten-free with her, her anxiety was gone just within a couple of days. I picked her up from school, and instead of having that anxiety breakdown at the end of the day, she got in the car laughing and joking and, oh, Mom, you're not going to believe what happened today, and all of that. It was just really, really cool. So I think that there's, a lot of hope for both my kids in regards to how they're going to be able to proceed moving forward, and the care that they're going to take with their health, because Mom's taking care of her health, and that translates.
You had mentioned, I remember when you did our call originally to enroll in the program, you had talked about how you were concerned about Donnie's health, and then your kids, like what were they headed towards? And one of the things I said to you is, and it's one of the things I say to people, is that there's two ways that we can influence our family and our children. We can be a warning, or we can be an example. Mm-hmm. What are you going to be? What are you now?
Right now, I'm an example.
What were you 8 weeks
Maybe
ago?
Both.
What were you 8 weeks ago?
8 weeks ago, I'm like, I don't know what. Call your father. He's on his way home. See what he can pick up.
And then what's happened with Donnie's health?
So Donnie, he has. He was a little slow to start the adoption of what I was doing, but I just was like, we're not going to have these foods in the house. He's like, there's not even any bread in the house. I'm like, good, we're not going to have bread in the house. It's done. It's gone. Mm-hmm. So, and he started eating some of the ancient grains and stuff that he had never had before. He's like, yeah, this is actually pretty good. And then as he started eating more of that and more consistent with it, he noticed that his blood sugars were dropping in the morning to the point to where he needed
diabetic.
Yes, he is diabetic, and he needed to start adjusting his insulin. And so his insulin at the time, I think, was around the 40 international units. He's down to 16. He's been lowering slowly over time.
That's 1/3 of the insulin he was on before.
Yes. And he's hoping to get off it completely shortly. And he's monitoring his blood sugars. His blood sugars have been really great. And so now he's eating what I eat for breakfast in the morning. He's trying to, find salads or something, take stuff with him, leftovers for lunch. And he's eating what I cook for dinner at night. And he's happy with that. He's not feeling like deprived or I still need something to eat. He's doing really good with it. And that's huge for him.
It is. And for me, though, there was something else, too. A big part of our program, what we do is mindset work. And what do you think was a big change in your mindset that really allowed this to happen? Not just the changes for you, but for your family.
We're not going to have that stuff in the house. I'm cooking dinner. This is what we're having. I'm not going to, do the catering off to, oh, I don't want that. I want something else. We're eating what I cook. And if you want chips and cookies and stuff, those things aren't in the house. So too bad. And instead of being so tired that I didn't want to go through those arguments Now I just say, yeah, this is what we're doing and this is how we're doing it, and like it or go hungry.
Well,
They
but
haven't
here's the
gone
thing
hungry,
though.
by the way.
I mean, what I'm hearing is you have healthier boundaries and you have a
Yeah,
clear explanation. There is actually a data, educational, educated reason to what you are eliminating and what you're adding in. And it's not just randomly, mom can't eat anything but drink her protein. So too
exactly.
bad, right? It's more like we're going to eat all this variety of foods because here's the data, here's the education, here's my mindset, this is why. And here are your results, kid.
Exactly.
I'm interested to see, like, as your daughter is seeing these, because this was, you said 2 to 3 days into being gluten free, she was able to be, her mood and anxiety went way down, way better. And so, has that continued the last month, or was that a
Absolutely.
fluke?
It was not a fluke. And in fact, she had a color guard competition over a weekend where she was gone overnight, and the kitchen couldn't accommodate her gluten-free stuff, so that she ended up having to eat pizza and Subway sandwiches over the weekend, which all the other kids ate, no big deal. And she came home and she said, Mom, I can't do that again. I said, why? What happened? And she goes, that made me so sick. She goes, I just can't do that stuff. She goes, they gave us pizza and they gave us, she was like all indignant. They gave us pizza and they gave us Subway sandwiches, and they thought breakfast was a cinnamon roll and an orange.
So here's the thing, though, Rita, is that not only did your mindset change, your daughter's mindset has completely changed and turned around. She knows cause and effect that she never would have known 2 months ago.
Exactly.
This is coming from her now. I won't do that again. You're not telling her. She's telling you.
Yep, absolutely.
That's huge.
That is huge.
All right. So here's the thing. I mean, the results for you and for Donnie, I mean, Donnie's cutting his insulin to 1/3, and for your kids have been tremendous, huge. And yet people will ask, is this, these kind of outcomes that you and your family have experienced in our program, is that typical of the kind of outcomes that you see in our program? Is this highly unusual and super high compared to other people? Well, I mean, what have you seen based on all the other people that you've seen go through our program? What is your experience as far as how your results compare to them?
I think right there in the middle. Every single person that I went through the program with had just as incredible of responses to their stuff. And you know, sitting on those calls week after week, you see the transformation that everybody makes. And in that group, that community of us who go through that, you're just so excited for everybody, because here's a group of people that knows and understands the heartache of autoimmune disease. You see it on their face when they start the program, and in very few short weeks, you see them without their baseball hats on, and you see them with their hair done and their makeup on, and they're smiling more, and they're so excited to share their wins because they're feeling the changes, and it happens early on in it, and you just get to see it get better and better throughout.
Well, you know, I want to, I mean, I think you were part of it, the group where Patricia W. went through with us. And that's going to be an incredible case to bring up, where her pain before the program was 20 out of 10. And she couldn't even wear clothes because the nerve pain hurt so badly. And then she said by week 3, her pain now is down to a level 3. And she was always on the coaching calls in the dark, like with her, just her name and never on video. And she's like laughing because I'm naked, right? and you weren't here for the last call, because you already graduated into the alumni group. But last week on the call, she was able to turn the camera on and she started to pan down, and we were like, no. And she had clothes on, and we were like, yes.
That is so huge. That is so huge. I'm so happy for it. And, you know, it's transformational. I don't know how else to say it. It literally, you feel like you get your life back, and you get the knowledge to maintain it. You get the knowledge to track things over time. You get the knowledge to talk to doctors. In fact, at one point, I think on one of the calls, we were chatting back and forth, and somebody was saying something about, well, how do I interview my doctor? I'm like, shoot, they get the privilege of taking care of me and my complicated case.
You said that.
So true. Yeah, and that's so true. That's the mindset shift that I made in regards to the doctors. Instead of being at their mercy, I now have the knowledge to ask them the questions, to make sure they're the right doctor for me to follow this journey. And that's from this whole program. I mean, I have been at to so many doctors and through so many specialists and cried so many tears walking out of offices going, okay, great, another person who's not going to help me. That to be able to feel that empowerment is so huge. And so now I have my little list of questions, and you better answer them the right way when I come in to talk to you, because
Well,
I
I
know
mean,
now what I need to have somebody take care of me.
it's discernment. I love to say that
Yeah.
we teach discernment, and you can't have discernment without wisdom, right?
Yes.
And to have wisdom around autoimmune disease is to have mastery of it. And that's why we have 6 pieces in our program. That's huge. We got the blood sugar, we got the hormone balance, we got food mapping, we got gut healing, we got vitamins and nutrients, and all around that is mindset. I
Yep.
mean, this is like what it takes to win, but who the heck is doing this in autoimmune disease all together at once to teach clients how to do this?
No one. There, zero. And on top of that, Dr. Maggie, you put your personal spin on for each of us. You individualize it for each of us. It's not just one size fits all. Yes, there are 6 parts, but within that, it's what is your data telling, so that when you look at and hear my blood test results or look at what my food mapping was, you know exactly how to address it for me, which may be totally different than the person sitting next to me on the call.
I think what I would actually say is I'm going to take a spin to that. I actually don't think that's what's happening. That's not what's happening. What's happening is that you're learning so much through the educational process. I'm actually just teaching you how to think, so you come up with the answers.
Right.
I tell people all the time, I don't throw fish at you. I teach people how to fish. My job is to teach critical thinking.
Yeah.
And
And
autoimmune disease.
I learned more in the first video of the first module than 30 years of going to endocrinologists and specialists on thyroid. Nobody ever explained it to me the way you did. And I walked away from that going, holy cow, how did nobody ever say that to me?
And I think it's just, I really do think that there's another video we have, if you guys are interested, where I interview other medical practitioners who've actually been through our program. And we talk about the failings of how we're training doctors now. And we're really training doctors to Band-Aid with really quick Band-Aid, quick solutions, but it just doesn't work with something as complex as autoimmune disease, where you have all these areas you have to master. And in the clinical setting, I mean, I remember the interview we did with Gus and Gina, and and Gus is an internal medicine doctor. And he literally was like, I don't have time to deal with your 20 list of symptoms, honestly, because I have 5 other people in the waiting room waiting to see me. And that's not because he's not a good doc. He really is. It's just the way our system is made, is to deal with simple, acute, urgent problems and not something complex and big and huge like autoimmunity.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've had a doctor tell me that.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, here's one final question, which is that some people say that our program is expensive. And I want to ask you, are your outcomes, your experience, your journey, where you're at now, was this expensive? What is expensive?
The return on investment for this is immeasurable, because if I think back to the 30 years I've been on this disease, the number of doctors, the co-pays, the doctor's visits, the emergency room visits for gut issues, all of that, and it got me nowhere further. So when I look at this program and I think about what it has brought to me and how much it has helped me in such a short period of time, what else would you think? Like, do you want to be sick forever, or do you want to invest in yourself and your family and be able to make the choice that will put you down the path to being able to resolve it?
Yeah.
I will have Hashimoto's forever, but I have the knowledge now to manage that going forward.
Yeah, so that every single symptom, all these symptoms that you have are like
gone.
And you know exactly what is the cause and what's the effect. And now not just you, but your children and your husband.
Exactly. And huge.
Thank you. So guys, this is just giving you a glimpse of someone, Rita, who's been through a program, who you're saying, your results are average. and you've listed where you were before this program, where you are now, and what that process was like. So I want to thank you for sharing this with everyone. And, you know, and literally just 10 weeks ago, you were on the phone with us, just like a lot of the people watching here, and you watched some of these videos. And was it hard to believe the outcomes in some of these videos you were watching?
I don't know that it was so much hard to believe the outcomes as it was I saw hope. And I think that, you know, when you're presented with something in your life, you can make the choice. And I made the choice to take that risk and that gamble to invest in myself, because just watching the videos, the live interviews, the training that you went through, and then talking to you, it's like all of a sudden this little light bulb of hope came in to play. And I went, this is my opportunity right here, right now. I can take this and in 8 weeks be a lot better, or I can sit around and fuss and fume and be miserable and, you know, give my kids McDonald's food because I'm too lazy, or not lazy, but too tired to go do anything else.
Right.
Or I can change our lives. And I made the choice to do that. And so money shmoney, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of times, I mean, I mean, we talk about money a lot with people because people have a lot of stories around money and a lot of mindset around money. But it's interesting, like, let's say, you know, you're talking about something you spend, I don't know, $5,000. Yeah, some people spend $5,000 on supplements a year. Okay. And with autoimmune disease, that's not an uncommon number. And then yet that if they spent the same amount of money, like if you spend $5,000 on supplements and it got you no better, that's really expensive. But if you spent $5,000 educating and investing in yourself to totally change that around in 8 weeks and for life, not just for you, for your kids and your husband, those two objectively are the exact same amount, but which one's expensive?
Yeah, exactly. The one that keeps you sick for too long.
Sick. I mean, and my question is also, how much did it cost you to be sick? How much did it cost you for the ER visits, for the GI doctors, for all the medications, for the surgeries, for the appendix, for the gallbladder, for
the intestinal clean out, for all of this?
Medical bills and Donnie's insulin. I mean, I'm just curious, this year alone, how much money do you think your family has saved?
A ton. Donnie's insulin is $298 a month. That alone, him reducing that alone is huge. Not counting all of the rest of it. And I don't even know how to go back and add up that stuff, because I was in the hospital for 10 days for one surgery, and on, you know, IV everything. And so when you add all of that stuff up, that sickness, having a chance to say, I'm going to spend this money and it's actually going to get me well, and I don't have to go back there again because I know have the knowledge to do it, is huge. And it's just a drop in the bucket, because you'll continue on if you don't get a program like Dr. Maggie's to help you. So.
Thank you, Rita, for being on this call with us and this interview. I really appreciate your honesty and your candor. This is not easy stuff to share, and you're sharing a lot of personal stuff about you and your family. For those of you who want to learn more about our program, please go to the website, drmaggie.com/autoimmune, and you can register to watch the training. It's free. To learn more about our system of using data, education, live coaching, and mindset work to really deliver huge outcomes in autoimmune disease. And then once you watch the training, schedule a call with us. We'd love to talk to you and talk about your situation and what's going on and see if we're a good fit or not. So I thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate your vulnerability and your honesty. And all of you guys, good night. And why don't you guys give Rita a big thumbs up right now? Anybody that you know can benefit from watching this video, please go ahead and tag their name on the bottom. That would be great. Just put the name of somebody that you know with autoimmune disease or someone that you know could benefit from this in the comment section. That'd be much appreciated. That's all you have to do. And I appreciate it. So thank you very much and have a great night, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.